Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. Welcome to an airplane taking off as soon as I frickin' start my video. Have I mentioned before that I hate living by the airport? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't know. But look what we're doing, guys. We're still working. Part 12. Part 12 of the BMPT Terminator Tank 135th scale by Meng. Okay? And guess what? Done. Well, I can't say we're done. We still got stuff to do. Today, I'm going to be adding some dust effects. So last time, we did a whole bunch of work on the tracks. And we got them all nice and muddy, and I got the mud on there, and that's all dried up and clean and done. And so, yeah, it's looking nice and dirty, at least on the tracks anyway. But we need to add some dust. Now, I'm not going to go crazy with the dust. I just want to add a little bit. Have a little bit of like, I guess, you know when like when your car is not been washed for a little while and then it rains a bit and it's cleaning it off, but it's not fantastic, and it's then it dries and you get like those little water lines everywhere. That's what I'm going to be trying to mimic. Now, how much I have to do to do that, how much detail, I don't know. But we're going to start on it, and we're going to get finished today. Damn it, we're going to get finished. I have to finish this thing because I want to start my next project that I've been waiting to do for a month now. That being my next Gundam, right? I want to start my next Gundam build. So anyway, we're going to put some water lines and streaks and stuff on here. And so I get to just kind of go crazy. Pew, pew, pew. Look at that. Now I'm doing it off the lid, which makes it a little thicker. I could do straight out of the bottle, and it's a little bit more runny. And we'll go into some almost like panel lines, and that's perfectly fine because we're going to be taking a lot of this stuff off. Okay? A lot of it is coming off. Now, up on the top here where it's flat, I'm hesitant to do it because you wouldn't really see it, but I can still do it. I can do it like this. Pick a couple of spots here or there. Now, of course, on horizontal pieces, we want to go up and down. We don't want to go side to side, especially when we start blending or erasing our marks. I think this could be down like that. See, these are rain marks, and what this is kind of the similar idea to, it's where rust would eventually become, right? Eventually, rain marks turn into rust marks, right? Now, of course, there's going to be a bunch on this, on these mine. I keep calling it minesweeper, but it's not a sweeper. What do they call them again? I don't remember. Now, for places like this, I could just go a bit of a few dots, almost like you guys you'd see in with oil paints, and then you can blend it and mix it around, and so just make like a general dusty color, right? And just kind of, because these spots are flat, you just do that. And so I'm just going to put some random spots like that. Now on the back here, it's going to be tough to try and get rid of it if I put too much in here. It's going to seep down and it's going to be pretty hard to get rid of, right? So I kind of want to be careful where I put it. On here, we can just do a few random spots. Same in here. you, airplane. Love to hear from you all the time, right? Okay, so now we can work on the sides. So we'll start with this side, and I think where this little chain is will work good. All these little details on here are good guidelines for where you want them. I think that should be good enough. Pull these down a little further, all the way down. Yeah, kind of like that. And that's going to be good enough for me, at least for now. We have to get into this a little more detailed later, once this is dried a little bit. Okay, so let's now work on this side. Once again, just kind of pulling down some random spots. As you might be able to notice right off the bat, I'm not the straightest painter. My lines are not perfectly straight, but I don't really care because a lot of this is going to be blended and wiped away anyway. I could, of course, use a finer brush. I don't think I really need to because, as I said, I am going to refine this after it's had a chance to dry a little bit. I'm not going to let this dry overnight or anything crazy like that, but I am going to give it a few minutes. Okay, that's that. Now, choice. Do I want to do anything on the back? Could be relevant. Thank you, airplane. Interrupting me again. Okay, so there's the back. Now let's see, should I do the front too? The front has got a lot of stuff in it, but not really. I mean, just for my own peace of mind to say, hey, I did it, I'll add a few. Okay, so there we are. For the main part of the tank, the main hull, we're done. Okay, now we have our little, what do they call this, grenade launcher guys. There's not really much to put on here. I think I'll just do a couple little spots because these mainly are closed a lot. It's probably good enough like that, I think. Do a few on this one. Okay. Now we have our turret. I'm going to remove our missile launchers for now, just for ease of painting purposes. Now, along the flat surface, I'm just going to do some random spots. Maybe some here at these door hinges. Okay. Same with the top of the actual guns. Doink, 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 doink. We could do a couple of streets here where this is kind of bent down a little bit. I can do a couple here. Doesn't look very realistic right now, and that's quite all right. Doesn't have to. Finally, the back. Put some streets. That's a big one. But that's okay. That's a nice thing with these these washes from AK Interactive is you don't have to worry about that. You can clean them up. They clean up really nice. Like even if I just go right over this whole thing, I can clean that up and I can refine it as much or as little as I want. And that's a nice thing with these. Okay, so question is, do I want any on the actual missile launchers? I think maybe a couple of spots along the top here. That might work. Do the same on this one. Just a few spots here. Like that. Okay, so now I need to clean my brush. And I'm going to be using my thinner. Where are you? Now you guys may remember from my, if you watch my every build, you may remember from my last build where I basically just took paper towel and rubbed it. And I can get away with that. See, I'll show you right here on this spot. I can just kind of come in and rub it. Even if I let this sit for an hour, I can just rub it around like that, and it almost takes it right off. It's almost like a perfect panel liner. But I don't want to just do that, and it's too hard to get into all these little spaces. So I am going to be using my Q-tip to kind of rub and fade like this and smear them around like this, try and blend them a little bit. Now what you might see other guys doing, especially on their YouTube channels and stuff, is they'll use actual the white spirit thinner and dab it on there and do that. And well, that's fine. Just like airplanes always taking off. When you're trying to talk. And of course, all these little smudges, I'm just wanting to blend a little bit. And they might look a little too harsh right now. But when I actually put my final clear on here, it's going to kind of, for lack of a better term, they're going to mute them a little bit. You know, the ones where I want to keep it like a streak, I'm going to blend it down like this. So I turn this so it's easier, I can do this and blend them a little bit. And any part where it's not really blending as much as I'd like, I can add some of the white spirit to my Q-tip and blend it better. It will make it blend a little more smoothly. This one is a good example here where it's kind of a hard line and you can tell I didn't go straight with my brush. So I can take this thinner, even though it's a little bit dirty, which is fine. Put it on the other end of my brush, or Q-tip. Just dampen it a little tiny bit. Just dampen it even more, so it's not so harsh. And I can very carefully blend it, because if you go too hard with it, you erase your paint altogether. And you don't want that, right? Nobody wants that. And so it lets you get in there. Now there's a couple of areas like here where it's basically gone into the panel lines and it's making a light colored panel line, and I don't like that, right? So I will have to go over that again with my panel liner. I want the dark panel lines, not light panel lines. You know what I mean? Again, I'm just kind of going for a streaking effect, not these crazy harsh lines. And the paint, the thinner, allows me to get in there and kind of just refine it a little bit. And where there's a panel line, well, I'll fix that too. Okay, let's get in on our fenders. And of course, with our mine cleaners on the front, it's a little bit tricky to get in here. And where I might want to actually smudge on the cleaners, it's going to be a bit tricky because they are glued on, and well, that makes them delicate. So I want to kind of support with my hand while I'm doing this. That looks pretty good. This needs a little more refinement. Thank you. Okay, so like on this, I want to support it because it's a little bit delicate, and don't press too hard. Kind of basically what I'm doing is I'm smudging. And we're getting along. Now we're going to refine our little dots. I don't know how many times in moving this tank around and grabbing it and stuff that this thing I've moved around so much, I'm surprised it's still holding strong onto the tank. I'm really surprised it's still holding on. More dots over here. And you might be watching me do this and thinking to yourself, well, why did you bother putting all those dots? You're basically erasing them now. It's hard to tell on the camera, but it's actually creating these little areas that look like dust has accumulated on the thing and has just not been washed off. And that's the whole purpose of it. So now, pretty much done here. Got a couple of spots I'm going to have to touch up with my black panel liner, where the dust paint, that's thinner, where my dust effects has gone into the panel line, and I can't get it out with my Q-tip, so I have to basically redo that panel line. Moving to our side here, we're going to start our streaking lines. I'm kind of putting my thumb here to hold this because this panel is only held along the top and like right here along this line, and that's it. So it'd be very easy for me to accidentally press too hard and break the glue bond. Now, one thing that does kind of suck about this on these panels, there are so many textured rivets or bolts, I guess you could say. That just tear the hell out of my Q-tip. It just tears the heck out of that. So that one's done. Let's grab another Q-tip here. Once again, we're going to dip one end in the thinner and one not. Okay. So just about done on this side. Nope, see, just pushing on that, I broke it loose. So, I'm going to have to re-glue this side back on. So, before I move on, I need to re-glue that. Let's turn it around so I can see. Alright. Bit of glue. So that shouldn't take too long to hold. Let's flip her over. And we'll get to work here. Just could use a little refinement here. There we go. Now, if you're able to hear me over the planes, that would be great. No, I'm kidding. If you're able to use a smaller brush and refine your little streaks, because you're a master painter, then that's fantastic. You don't have to go through this process like I'm doing. But I'm terrible at painting streaks like this, so I have to refine my stuff. Otherwise it looks like crap, right? So that's why I go through this process of kind of muffling the effect, for lack of a better term. So we're almost at the front now. There we go. Okay, so the top is done, both sides are done. We're going to focus on the back now. Actually, I'm going to just set it down so I can get a little bit more pressure on it for my blending. Okay, and now our front. You guys even see it? Oops, I used the wrong end there. Alright, and we're done. The main tank is done. So what broke? I think I put too much pressure and this cracked. Yeah, see, it's a little wobbly now. So I'll have to put some glue back down onto that. That's, like I said, I've moved this thing so many times, I'm surprised it's still in place. Okay, so that's done. Now I've got some little variations in light streaking in some spots and some faded and shadows. Well, like fake shadows, I guess you could call them. So let's move on to these little guys. Now these might be a little bit harder to blend because of the texture on the lids. And yes, it is proving to be a little bit hard to blend these. So what I want to do, I don't want to wipe them off, but I want them blended. So I'm just going to, what do you call it, stippling? Move the paint around a little bit, kind of like that. And I'll use this to kind of help dry it in some spots. I think that looks pretty good. The tops of these is kind of like similar, it's got a texture like checker plating. And that's basically why it's a little bit difficult to, that looks alright. That looks pretty good like that. Okay, so now moving on to this. Get to clean the brush off. Close up my thinner. Now we'll move on to this part. Lift up my guns. Okay. Smear and smudge and all that good stuff. We're getting there, we're getting there. It's a bit of a tedious task, and that's kind of why I don't really do this stuff on my videos. Because it's a bit of a painstaking process that, I don't know, I think you guys would just wind up fast forwarding through, you know. And so if you're just going to fast forward through it, then why am I bothering to record it? You know what I mean? So there is just the tiniest little amount of thinner on this side of the swab, which is making it easier to erase the lines, for lack of a better term. And here, I want to get it here a little bit. And finally, we have the back, but I have an almost completely dead cotton swab. It's not too cooperative as far as cleaning up anymore. It's not much of a cotton bud anymore. Let's just grab another one. Almost finished. Almost ready for clear coat. Almost there, guys. We're almost there. Okay. Done. Done like dinner. Oh, with the exception of these guys. I have to do these guys. These guys just a little bit on the top, and that's all I did. There. Okay. We're all done. Oh! I forgot about this guy. Remember I put the dirt on him on the bottom? Where's my paint? I gotta put some dust on the top. Watch what I do. Doink, put my finger in it, touch it. There you go. Done. Cheating. I'm a cheater. I'm going to use this one to kind of smear it around, and this one to kind of refine it a little bit. And this end, all one dusty color. There we go. All right. We have a couple of things to assemble still. Of course, this being one of them. So, grab my glue. It goes on the end here. Just like that. And it goes on the edge of the tank. Right there. Just like that. Okay? Yep. Okay. So those are on. What else do I have? I have mirrors. Mirrors I have to put on. Actually, I'm going to do the mirrors after the clear coat, because I don't want to clear coat my mirrors, right? Because that would actually take the sheen away from the mirror itself. So let's get set up and put our clear coat on. All right. So I'm going to be using Tamiya's flat clear. As you can see, nice. I write on there because I have a gloss clear and I've got a semi-gloss. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put the turret on just like this, because as you guys know, I bought some grease and I put some grease on the inside here so it rotates a little bit easier, and I don't want to put clear coat on the grease, so I'm just going to set him down in there like that. Okay, and now I'm going to clear coat this guy. And I didn't set up my other camera, so I apologize. You can't see where it is. Maybe I can do this. Can we do this? I'll move this over. You might be able to see. There we go. Cover my face. I don't need a super thick coat. Just enough to make it uniform. And so that stuff won't necessarily come off when I touch it, that kind of thing. So that's the whole purpose of this. And that should be good enough, I think, for that. I need to do these two little guys. I'll put these on clips here. These guys, you get a clip, and you get a clip, and you all get a clip. Just so it's all nice and everybody has the same kind of coat of paint on them. That's the main thing. It's kind of like if you go ahead and you prime something in black and then you prime something else in gray and then you paint your color over top, you'll find it actually comes out a slightly different color. And it's the same thing. If you put a gloss coat or put a clear coat over one part and then you don't on another, you find they actually come out looking different. And so, and then of course you wind up being disappointed and all that good stuff, right? So, yeah. Love that about Tamiya's paints, is dry to the touch in a couple of minutes. So, we're almost done. Now I have to take off all my masking tape from all of the little windows for all the viewfinders and stuff like that. Remembering where all the windows are is a challenge in itself. Little windows are so small. Hindsight being 2020, I would not have installed the clear on these until after I painted, because each one of these pieces of glass I had to put 2 pieces of masking tape on them because they're at weird little angles. They don't sit in these little holes just a flat, as a flat piece of glass. They're actually angled. So when you put a piece of masking tape over that to cover the glass, you wind up not completely covering the hole. So I wound up having to put two pieces of masking tape on each one, which basically just meant it took longer. Okay, so those are all clean. Now I got this guy. Lots of little pieces of masking tape I used on that window, just to make sure I got every little square inch. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera or not. Now I've got the clear glass up here, right? You can see that kind of glossy in the camera there. This one here, and then of course our 5 that go around this here. Okay, so that's that on the turret. Okay. And then we have no other windows on the actual hull, just on these guys. Okay, we have just a main, oh no, we got 3 windows on each one. 2 little ones and 1 big one. Okay, is that one done? Okay. And he's going to go in right here. Push him down in. It rotates just a little bit, but not much. They have little things that block the rotation, so it only rotates a certain amount. And that's it. So this one's done too. And as I showed you before, these do open up. They go doink like this. The little hinge that I fought with the stupid photo etch so much. You can open them up and you can have them open or closed. I will have them closed. So it goes in there just like that. Okay. Now, these guys are done. Or dry, I mean. Now, whoops, oh no, wrong spot. Now we can put the mirrors on. Now that I've done the clear coat, I'm going to put the mirrors on. He's going to go this side. There's supposed to be a little hole there for him. There it is. Just like that. And then same deal with this side. He's a little more willing to go in his hole than this side was, but that's okay. There we have our mirrors on, and now we're going to put the turret on, but I've got to add a little more grease. I don't want to add a heck of a lot of grease because I don't want it to be squirting anywhere, but I think once I actually have it on here, probably never going to come off. There are a couple of spots where I found it's kind of binding a little bit, and it actually took some of the paint off as I was just kind of playing around with it, trying to get it to, well, to get the 2 pieces to play nice with each other, for lack of a better term. So now I got a nice little slathering of my synthetic grease in there. A little bit of dirt I don't want in there. Okay. Turret installation. Have to press down to make sure that things are in. There we go. And that should now rotate. Famous last words. It should rotate. There we go. There, we've got some nice smooth movement now. Okay, there we go. Now, final pieces. I'm not gluing these on. These get to stay nice and movable. And there we have it, guys. there is our BMPT Terminator tank. Finished. All done. Finally. Finally done. Ta-da! Yay! That now leaves me open to start working on my next project tomorrow. Hey, Cassandros. Thank you. So, you caught me right at the perfect time. I'm just about to finish up. That's it, guys. Finished. That's it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some pictures of this thing and I will upload it onto my Instagram. And you guys can see some different angles and stuff like that. I mean, I could technically put it on this right now for you. I could do this, right? There you go. You can see the nice angles and all that good stuff, right? And what it looks like. Yeehaw. See my face in the mirror, that's funny. Yeah, so that's it. That is the BMPT Terminator tank by Meng. And it's a nice looking kit. I will say that, even if it did take me 12 parts to finish it. Lots of detail, lots of tiny parts. I would say on my own personal things, it was a little bit frustrating dealing with the photo etched parts, but that's just me. Just because I'm not that great with the photo etch stuff, so I can't really complain, because that's just my own skill level with photo etch stuff. I'm not that great with it. So yeah, it's a nice kit. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I think so. If you like this tank, I think this is a good build. The detail is there. It's very nice. Yeah. So with that being said, I am going to call it a day, and that's going to be it for today. My next build is going to be a Gundam, and it's going to be a custom Gundam. So it will be the most customizations I've done on a Gundam. Of course, if you watched my Gundam builds, I don't really customize them, other than maybe a little bit of weathering. So this one's just going to be a little bit more. I'm going to actually paint the whole thing a different color and all that. So yeah, that's going to be it. So with that, guys, if you've made it this far in the video on YouTube, you can hit the like button in the middle there. That would be really fantastic. And you can go over on this side here and there's a subscribe button, and that would be really cool. Go in the description box below and I'll put links to my Twitch and my Instagram. You can go on my Twitch and follow me and watch me live when I do these, and also get notified when I am live. So yeah, so thanks again, Chrysandros, and you guys watching on YouTube, thank you, and we will see you all in the next one.